The time now is 5:30. I call this public hearing meeting of the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, with trustee Flores and trustee Quinones absent, that this meeting has been duly called and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. If you'll please stand and bow your heads for a moment of silence for 21 seconds to honor our 21 beautiful souls. Thank you. Our invocation this evening will be led by Miss Kathleen Maxwell Ramby.
Father, we just come to you tonight and we offer up this meeting. I ask for your wisdom, Lord, creative strategy for this meeting. Lord, just open the ears of the school board to hear, Lord, what's on your heart so that we can help our children, Lord, have the very best education and show us how to turn this around. You're such a good God, and we commit this meeting to you and ask that your peace rule and reign. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. If you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may be seated. Item 2, open forum. We do not have any speakers. Item 3, public hearing of targeted intervention and turnaround plans for the 2025-2026 school year. Superintendent Colas.
Thank you, President Bettis. The Texas Education Agency requires each district identified for school improvement to hold a public meeting to share information regarding its targeted improvement plans, or TIPs, and turnaround action plans, TAPs. These plans outline the districts and campuses' strategies for improving student outcomes and addressing areas identified through the state accountability system. Uvalde CISD campuses have conducted multiple face-to-face stakeholder meetings to gather staff, family, and community feedback. This public hearing provides an additional opportunity for valued community input and comment regarding the content, services, and improvement strategies that will guide UCISD's work for the 25-26 and the 26-27 school years. At this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Kraber, Chief Instructional Officer, to present our TIPs and our TAPs.
Good evening, Superintendent Colas and trustees. Tonight, we're just going to review some of how we got here, what we have, and then leave it open. I have our principals here to ask specific campus plans if you have questions on specific campuses. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is our legal requirement and ensures compliance, as well as provide a platform for UCISD to outline our improvement strategies and demonstrate commitment to transparency and accountability within our community. We also, in the specific plans, you will see the community engagement timelines that we have engaged communities with, either on campuses, through QR codes, as well as our website as well. So our TEA requirements and the overview of the legislative mandates is, I have them right here, Ms. Colas. Once we get to the campus slides, I have one for each board member,
Okay.
but you can definitely share. Is the legal framework through the TEC, and to ensure accountability and transparencies. And then there is the root causes. What our committees have done, I've identified the root cause for essential addressing systematic issues within UCISD fostering effective change. So some of the evidence-based strategies you will see is to ensure that all initiatives are grounded and proven in success. So one of the models that we have used is the same model that we are using in our DIPS and our SIPs is the effective schools framework. And so we're focusing really in these plans with our high quality instruction, leadership development, and data-driven decisions. So how did the plans come to be? Well, there was campus involvement. Each campus, Dalton, UHS, Legacy, and MJH, they had a campus improvement team, and they engaged in data-driven decision-making. They looked at root causes. Multiple campuses had multiple meetings looking into data. What's the next step? And we will continue to meet monthly as this campus improvement team to look to see where are we at, what is our progress monitoring, and what adjustments in these tips and tap plans that we need to make. We have gathered parent surveys, student surveys, and staff surveys. So you will see in each plan, there's a little bit different, as much as lots of feedback that we're taking for UCISD as well. And then of course, we're focusing on that strong leadership, fostering a culture of collaboration among all stakeholders. So I'm going to start with Dalton Elementary. If you are online digital one, but I printed all up paper copy.
Thank you.
So our Dalton plan is our main focus on Dalton is strong tier 1 instruction using our HQIM guided by data-driven PLCs, ongoing coaching cycles, and really diving into that lesson internalization. Ms. Sagamule and Ms. Tarsky Rodriguez has done a phenomenal job with walkthroughs already this year. They're probably leading our entire district in walkthroughs and giving that real-time feedback. Teachers refine instruction and accelerate student growth across all subjects. Again, they are a paired campus, so they don't necessarily have STAR scores, but they are focusing in on those foundational literacy and mathematical pieces. So if you have any specific questions for Dalton, or Ms. Tarsky can dive in, add any more that you feel may need.
No, we don't have the star there, but you said it's because it's paired.
Yes, sir, because it's a paired campus
With Legacy.
with Legacy.
What did you ask, JJ? I'm sorry.
That we don't do the star for Dalton, but
So the first one is what is the target and why is Dalton paired? So that first paragraph kind of understands that it's a paired campus under the accountability system. And it means that because Dalton serves students pre-K through 2 who do not take the state assessment, the STAR, it's paired with a tested campus for accountability purposes. So right now, Dalton shares an accountability rating with its paired campus of Legacy.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the parent surveys, what would you say? It's 50%, 60%, a big amount that respond to, like, the parents? What do you-
On the survey for the plan, it was, I think we had about 6 parents come. And then, so that's not a large population, but they got to hear the plan, hear it explained all the way through so they knew what they were asking, or excuse me, answering.
Although I was talking about the percentage of surveys that were turned in or responded to.
There was a total of 66. So some parents that went to UHS, I know Mr. Cerner probably had the largest turnout, but they may have had a kiddo at Dalton. And so they clicked all the campuses and they gave us feedback on all of them. So total, we had 66 responses.
Okay,
in the whole district.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It wasn't just sent out.
right. Okay, thank you.
What did you say? I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing you. What did you say that it was just sent out?
It was not. It wasn't just like a blanket send out of a survey. It was guided through the presentations that we put together.
Okay, so they had to be present. Is that what you're, okay.
We also have it online to where if they want to click, like if going to continue and give us feedback. And then, like I said, on the other campuses, when they did, I know Morales had like 2 or 3 meetings, they were able to give more feedback every time.
Thank you.
What is the beginning of your report that Dalton will be?
We like, which screeners do we use? We, 1st and 2nd grade, we use Star Renaissance screeners. Kindergarten uses the Texas Kia, the kindergarten assessment, through CLI Engage, and then pre-K uses, Circle, PM through CLI Engage. So we kind of use a variety of screeners based on age.
And you did all of that already. Was that administered?
Yes, ma'am. It's administered in different ways. Some are administered on the iPad, some are administered one-to-one. So it just depends which assessment you're talking about.
At the very beginning of the year? or-
No, I believe it's about September. We have a specific number of weeks that we have to allow, especially pre-K, to be in school before we screen them. So we try to align the windows so everyone's kind of testing around the same time, kind of second week of September.
For almost all of those tests you listed.
Mhm.
And what about the middle of year test? When is that administered there?
That is administered in January, and it's the same ones that we took for beginning of year. So the beginning of year gives us that baseline.
What about, it changed from last year, right? It's not the same?
Correct. We
what's-
were using Star Ren for all, Star Renaissance for all 4 grade levels, but now we are using, Star Ren for only 1st and 2nd grade as a screener. So we're not using it for kinder and pre-K.
Is that because of the changes in curriculum? Is that what it is, or why did it change?
It's mandatory by the state, so we just reduce the number of screeners that the kids have to take. So they have to do the CLI Engage and the Text Kia by law. We have to submit those to TEA. So instead of adding an additional screener, we just said they're going to use this one mandatory, and if they want to do an additional one, they can. But we just want the state one, so that way the kids aren't being over tested.
So the beginning of year one, that's the state
Mhm.
requirement. So they're
That's
trying to
the only,
see
yes, ma'am.
like what they're like coming in as a student. And then when do they test them again at the end of the year? That
3 times.
beginning, middle and end, right?
Yes.
So then would the January middle of year report give us a good idea of where we are?
It would show growth for sure, what growth has been made.
I just wonder, based on last year's data, I mean, do we see trends? I know that it's based on the STAR test, but do we see trends of them not doing well? Like last year, you know what I mean? Is there something that based on those tests, are we able to make a decision on how poor we're doing or how good we're doing? You know, it's just, are they good indicators is what I'm trying to ask.
I think middle of year those tests are good indicators of what growth is being made, especially in the early grades, because there just hasn't been quite as much instruction for these kiddos yet. So I think when it comes to middle of the year, that's when a good vantage point for us gets to say like, okay, where do we intervene? Tier 2 needs to come in. And of course that's already started, but in a broader sense.
Okay.
Is that middle of year report once that's done in January.
And that is provided to y'all as a principal? Do they give you that data, or who collects that data?
Myself and our IC work through that data together with teachers, of course.
In the past, have we made any changes based on that data?
Yes, ma'am. At middle of year, the last 2 years, we started tutoring during the school day. So we rearranged kids or pulled small groups based on those middle of year scores.
Seems like we have a lot of programs that I know of. I don't know their names right off, and I don't know if they're at Dalton, but that help with tutoring. Do you identify them based on the beginning of your report, or do you wait until the middle?
That's a hard question because I think it depends on the kid and the grade level.
Mhm.
For 1st and 2nd, we're definitely already actively pulling our reading interventionists to start that kind of tier 2, tier 3 instruction for reading. But for kinder and everything below that, we really wait until middle of the year.
So when do y'all, I guess, when y'all draw the line as to like when, like, is it mid-year when you decide like the child's like too far gone and we need to like pull back? Does that ever happen? I know in other districts, like if a child's not scoring, even like in pre-K or kinder, like if they're not at a certain level, especially like reading, like they contact the parents and the parents are told like, I'm sorry, we're having to hold your child back because they're not ready to go on. Does that go on? I don't remember. We don't, right?
We're trying to work on the timeline. What we noticed last year was it was all in June. And so we are getting together what that timeline looks like. So it does need to start in January. Yes.
Because you would already know coming off of kinder, like the children that are just not reading, or even starting to put reading together
Mhm.
going into first. Because You know what I mean? Cause you're saying you wait till middle of the year, and I think that's maybe like too late, you know? Cause you have, I mean, you know what I mean? That, like,
Mhm.
December, and then, you know, you have spring break. and-
Right. And I think when I say I wait till middle of the year, it was just to look at that data as a campus whole. Teachers are constantly looking at what they progress monitor and what they test on to make those accommodations like in the classroom. But anything broader, like a campus-wide tutoring plan, is done in the middle of the year when we just have a better sense of growth. There's just so much change from kinder to first, from pre-K to kinder, that giving them a little bit more time is age appropriate.
So then there isn't like a time where you hold them back or say like they're just not prepared for the next grade level.
For retention.
We don't really decide that until the summer in the committee, but we'll start collecting data of saying, who are we thinking? What is the opportunities we're offering them, whether through ACE or whether through extra tutoring? So we'll start putting some more intentional MTSS meetings to saying, what are we going to do to intervene, to just say, oh, they can't read, we have to repeat the grade level. So what are we doing in the meantime? But we're going to start that in January.
Yeah, and so the parents are notified and they're
Mhm.
on board with the fact.
Yes, we're currently doing fall parent conferences. So we've had a pretty good either by phone or in person
So you're just
showing.
doing one for the fall.
We do one in the fall and then we do one in the spring.
So not
Mhm.
every 9 weeks, there's a conference.
No, not every 9 weeks. But they're also not testing every 9 weeks. So we kind of do it following the beginning of year testing when that's finished and wrap that up. Then we meet with the parents again after middle of year, kind of before that end of year testing, we'll meet with them again.
These are formal conferences. Now, of course, there's another conference that needs to happen. Those can happen at any time, but every teacher is required for every student in the fall and in the spring.
I think what Trustee Munoz is saying is that maybe based on the mid-year, that maybe we have something added to the plan that says, bring them in. And we have a parent conference with them and talk to them, the ones that aren't doing well, that didn't show any improvement from beginning to middle.
Mhm.
Maybe we can implement that in the and the plan is something.
Yeah,
so
they should
I
be
think that-
hitting, you know, they should be hitting certain levels mid-year. You're gonna know right off the bat, like how much they can improve in so many months for
Mhm.
summer. And that way the parents are aware and say like, look, you know, either we're gonna implement more tutoring from here till the end of the year, or maybe the parents get a private tutor. And that way they don't get held back and they're ready for, you know,
Mhm.
first or second, just saying, as a parent.
Yeah,
I wanna
I mean,
know.
it does make sense what you're saying.
Don't shock me in the summer. Your kids stink.
Well, it's an indicator, but where would that be in here and the plan that you gave us? Would it be added somewhere? Part of the plan structure?
That is not part of the TEA structure of it. We can add it to like an engagement piece of it of what possible parents want to see in court, because we have to upload the stakeholder feedback. But the questions that are like the assessment plan, the questions that are on the column, those are the ones that we have to copy and put into the quadratic survey for TEA. So that particular piece is not in there other than parent and stakeholder feedback, which we could definitely add to the Google form and then upload that with the tip and tap plan.
It's like an indicator to tell them they're not doing well and the plan of how to improve it. Maybe it's the time to address attendance issues or
Mhm.
whatever. I'm sure you address it the first time, but maybe again.
Yes.
Concerns me is like the correlation, the responses rate, you have a large base of
Mhm.
students and staff, and you only get 66 responses. You know, that's concerning to me.
Mhm.
And it's a correlation because it takes a partnership between y'all are the professionals, right? But it takes that partnership. It's like somebody's pulling in one direction and the other one's pulling in a different direction. And it makes it very difficult. So what do you have in place, maybe compared to last year, that's different now that you can say, instead of 66, I need, 200. I need a lot more to get a really good sample, to give you even a better, clearer direction of where you need to go.
That's a good question. This is the first year that we've had to do a survey and ask for feedback where they had to kind of be there to grasp everything that we were putting out there. So I think if I was to do it next year to have another one of those, what I would do differently is do it during one of our like
Family
winter
nights.
wonderland or some family night where we're doing something with the kids instead of just a meeting. Because I think we have a better showing with our parents when it's something with the kids. So that's something I would do differently next year. The surveys that we do send out kind of blankly in a newsletter or however it's sent out, they're somewhat better feedback, but probably less than 20% of parents are answering those as well. So I think bringing them in for that family engagement night does make a difference
So if
and
you-
asking them to do it then.
If you brought them in for those conferences, like I'm saying, then you would have the opportunity to say, okay, you know, this is a time that we're going to ask you to fill out the survey because we really need your feedback because your child goes to school here and we need that interaction, that, you know, response. But I mean, I
Right.
think that would be a good place to start because they come and they want to know about their grades. They want to see all the cute stuff they do and they're
Right.
ready to be there. So
Right.
maybe that's
And I
a
think
good-
what's hard about this survey specifically is there was a lot of material that was covered in the presentation that they needed in order to kind of answer it and get quality feedback.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was instruction based, coaching based, leadership based. So I felt the need to kind of explain that a little bit better to get that quality feedback.
And I guess what we're talking about is just making sure that our families are informed.
Right.
You know, and I think President Pettis suggested 60%. I think that's a good number. A 60% turn response from
Mhm.
each campus would be
That
ideal.
would be great.
But it's almost like we have, and I know this is something that's going to TEA, but as far as what the board is requesting, Ms. Colas, can we request that for each campus to have a survey that's administered, that's collecting? I think correct me if I'm wrong, what you're providing is information on how they can be successful in our plan going forward. Is that not?
Right. So the Google form that went out that was the survey to collect feedback was all about the specific plan for Dalton. It wasn't really like a feedback in general. I guess there was one question at the end that said that, but it was more specific to this targeted improvement plan. I know we're sending out one for the Stronger Connections. That is more the family survey for that. And maybe that would provide more feedback as a whole.
Well, and honestly, Ms. Colas, all of this is just overwhelming. It's overwhelming to us as a board.
No,
I mean, I understand that parents wouldn't be able to do it. It seems like we need to have some kind of info sheet that's given to them that's in terms that a parent can comprehend. That's something that says, what do we need from you? You know, what do we need from a parent in this situation? Because this is so complicated and honestly, I couldn't even find this online. I had people reaching out to me. They couldn't find it online. So I don't even know if we gave it to the public right now.
So when the campuses did their presentation, it was broken up into about 5 or 6 slides and it broke down the information. That is cumulative of everything on top of the TEA questions that we have to respond to. And so this is a little different. We will put it out there. I'll double check with Ms. Gomez. She was going to put them all out there, but the presentation and when they tried to elicit the feedback, it was in regards to specific components of it. This is just everything that we have to submit by Friday. So we wanted to give you the whole view of everything that we have to submit. Now, did parents get all of this? Absolutely not. They chunked it up into different slides and the campuses did certain slides.
So for what you have to submit, is there a certain percentage that TA wants to see that parents?
I looked in some of the bigger districts and they did like 3 surveys. And so I was like, okay, so because we don't have control, we have to control what we can control. We do not have control over parents submitting the surveys. And so we got 66 surveys. Well, if we get more tonight, when the surveys goes up, we'll add some more to it. We'll look at it. We'll continue to adjust. But again, we can only control what we can control and we cannot control forcing people to take a
Ms.
survey.
Collis,
Yeah.
could we do, once we get the condensed version for the parents to put it online, could we get like an email sent out saying this is the steps on how to find it online? Send it out to the parents saying, okay, this is step 1. ucisd.net. Boom, step 2, click on this, step 3, this, that way there's a breakdown on how they can access
Wait,
it.
isn't there a way to like send it out like by text? Cause you know, I mean, what do y'all use to notify parents of like events?
We use Seesaw.
So Seesaw, did it go out through Seesaw or?
Mhm.
it-
Well, the notice of the meeting did.
But the actual survey?
No,
You have to be present, right?
we didn't just blanket send it out, correct?
Here. Oh,
Well, I mean, I don't, if you have it summarized in 4 pages, maybe just give it to them, but I mean, it's still very complicated. Even this is very complicated. It just needs to be broken down to them and what to expect. You know, main things like what impacts success,
Mhm.
attendance, you know, whatever Dalton kids need. I don't know what they need, but to me, attendance, supporting them would be something.
So our specific plan is based on intensive curriculum instruction, and that was by through TEA. So we do have to focus all of our efforts and our questions in regards to how we are intensively using curriculum instruction to adjust the turnaround plans. And so that was that's one of the options. We don't get to just choose. We only have like 5 we get to select from. So that was the one. No, our strategy, our district strategy. And so we're using intensive curriculum and instruction. So all of our answers have to be based in fidelity checks, the forms, the curriculum and instruction, not attendance. Those are pieces that we can add to timelines, but we really have to be really specific for TEA, even how many walkthroughs we're doing a week, how many walkthroughs we're doing a month for the plan to get accepted and approved through TEA.
Well, I think there's a gap between what we're talking about. You're talking about what needs to be submitted to TA, and what we're talking about is how do we increase success and getting this information to the families in Uvalde. And so I think that's what we're saying is how do we get this information to families so they can understand what we're trying to be successful in and improving our rating.
Simplifying it.
Absolutely.
Because
Using the
yeah.
presentations that the campuses did at their meetings.
Was it charged by TA to do a presentation?
It was our parent engagement, yes.
So
To
that-
do like a site meeting, that was
But I'm
part of
saying,
it.
could you still send the survey out with like your summary, like
Sure.
Seesaw and that?
I definitely could.
Because I think, you know, what, like, for me, like, I'm used to getting notified through a certain, you know, like Canvas or whatever, you know, all those places. And then you're like, if you can't make the meeting, then you just don't do it. You know,
Right.
so if you have the ability to read it and try to do it on your own, then maybe more parents would.
Mhm. For sure, I can definitely.
And probably, I know we're running out of time, but it's like almost all campuses would have to do it. Cause if 66 for the whole UCISD responded, it seems like every campus needs to do the same thing in some way. So we can summarize it and provide it to them in a way that they might be able to understand what our plan is and things to look for. If they're not doing well, we're gonna reach out to you. Ms. Polis, if we can get that, in a plan of some way for the families. I understand we have to submit things to TA, but ultimately it's for transparency for the community. Right? That's what this meeting is about, is for transparency so they can understand what the plan is like. We're not gonna be able to present it all right now. We're running out of time. Are you gonna present it all for every campus?
I think every campus supposed to come up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's what it's university. High school.
Okay.
River, question real quick before, this is the 2-year plan, sounds like, right? 24,
yes.
25, 20. I'm sorry, this is a 2-year plan?
The TIP plan, so Dalton and UHS is a 1-year plan. The TAP plans, which is Legacy and MJH, are 2-year plans.
Do you have a contingency plan? Like if we go back to, so we're on 4-day school week. Do you have a contingency plan? Like if we decide to go back to 5 days?
So the plan is like the strategy. So it's like what the walkthrough, the leadership that the teachers are doing and kind of our cadence of MTSS and those supports. So those would be able to easily extend to 5 to 4, whatever like the instructional day is, because these are strategies in which the campuses are functioning, the systems to which support kids and support teachers and the families. Yes, sir. So easily go from 5 to 4 to whatever we need.
Okay.
So for the high school, again, which is, they are a targeted intervention plan. So this is a 1-year plan. It's strengthened tier 1, HQIM, data-driven PLCs, coaching cycles, teacher use data from Eduphoria, Strive, and NIET to guide instruction, reteach, and improve college and career readiness outcomes. So that's a lot of their plans. So a lot of it is the same because again, as a district, we want to hit it systemically. So there are very many similar, so we can support it in different PLCs. But if you have any specific questions for Mr. Cerna?
I mean, I just wish that we would have been able to give this to our families earlier. I don't feel like we're giving our families any justice and presenting this in second.
We did have meeting, all families were invited to these campuses for the meeting, so it was presented.
But we
At
didn't
each
even,
campus.
we
With
didn't even
specific data.
publish these in the agenda item 7 days before in advance. This was not published for our agenda. It was not properly
We'll-
posted.
Well,
We
the
can get
purpose,
them
the
up.
purpose of the meeting is like, it's a work in progress. So we're collecting data back to see we input more data
So
into
when
the
did
tip
this
plan.
Take place.
Mine took place last Thursday.
I mean, even then, it's like not enough time to turn around. I mean, right now, this is gonna be submitted on the 20th. That's the deadline according to this document. We don't even get time to process it ourselves.
And we received notice, I believe it was October 5th that we received notice to start creating these plans. And so even for us, it's about 5-week turnaround plan to have the public meetings to gather the information and to put them together. And at first, it was the 14th of November. So we would have had to take them to the October board meeting, but they did extend it to the 20th, which captured us this week. So it's a very tight turnaround plan, even for our campus administrators to create these and get our families up there. So that is the timeline that we were given as well.
These are also a work in progress. We can continue to communicate this information to families and gather feedback. I mean, it's about continuous growth. So we can continue to put a simplified version.
He has his for his
Yeah.
campus as well.
Well,
He
we
went
can
over
get
with
that
his
on
group.
the website and offer up feedback.
Or meetings.
Yeah, or just opportunities.
Well, I think to
Online
reach
too.
out to market.
Yeah, and I will say as a high school parent, and I'm not saying anything about the other schools because I just have communication with the high school, but Mr. Serna does a good job of letting us know weekly when meetings are, and that goes out to all the parents. So the ownership is also on us as well as parents to make those meetings as well. So thank you for doing that. I mean, we look forward to your weekly Sunday night. Boom, here we go. This is what we're gonna do. All right, sit down, girl. This is what we gotta do this week. But, and I'm sure the other principals do that as well. But yeah, I mean, you communicate well with the parents of UHS and notifying us when these meetings are so we can attend.
I think the only problem is that you're successful, and we're trying to contact the people that aren't being successful.
Oh, no, yes.
And so I think that's the only thing is how do we get them, is what the question is.
Right.
I don't know the answer, but
Yeah.
obviously I don't even read my emails so much, but you read your
Well, but
emails, you follow up.
yeah, but that's
so
part
it's-
of, that's part of being involved with the education is reading that communication because or else how else do we get it out there? We can do phone calls, we can do Facebook, we can do MySpace. I don't know, I'm just joking. MySpace, but I mean, we can do all that communication, but I mean, it's as a parent, we have to be involved in the education process as well. And I understand, I'm not, please, I'm not saying that against anybody, but we have to take like ownership as well as parents, say, okay, what can we do to help our teachers, to help our schools, to help our kids become successful?
And I think one of the things I've heard is that there's a lot of people that are grandparents that are with kids.
Yeah,
And they don't have technology.
Yeah.
I was just in a meeting last week and that's what someone mentioned is that there's this gap in that and they're trying to be the parents for these kids. And so again, we try to solve these problems based on our population. We have to.
was there any
achieve-
suggestion
I know,
in that
I
mean
know.
on how to
No,
communicate?
I mean, no, they didn't.
I think phone calls, I think going back to like a personal phone call and like getting them in like in person Because grandparents are really good about coming to school. They like to come and see. And
You're
so-
right. And the thing is, they don't do Facebook
No.
or,
Or text,
Mhm.
you know.
So it's hard,
So
but it's our
a-
population
it's a
that we have.
personal- Yeah, it's a personal connection.
And they do want to be there. It's just, they may not know.
We used to have a voice system that went out, like when I first got on the board,
Yes, I remember
a
that.
voice system that went out because we talked about like parents and even grandparents that can't read.
Right.
So
It was a
we-
recording.
it was a
Yes,
recording,
I
yes.
remember that.
And besides my regular email for this last meeting where I did each member of my ILT team, I asked them to reach out to 2 or 3 parents personally to try to get them in as well. So
Thank
we
you.
had about 7 parents show up to our meeting. So
And I think Ms. Tarski did the same thing at her meeting to reach out somebody and tell them. And then Ms. Merlos, because she had multiple parent meetings. Please bring someone different with you at the next meeting. So
Yeah, I know that did happen because I had a colleague of mine that said that she had to go to a meeting over at the high school.
Mhm.
I think it was back to where, like, and I know this from experiences that we're not developing like a room parent and we're not getting that parent to be in charge of collecting phone numbers. And I don't know why. It's almost like we shy away from like, let's be a group, right? Let's be a little community within this classroom. And so that's why we have this falling out in PTO as well. Like we have nobody. And so I'm like, I keep telling people like, we've got to bring that back and have like a room parent. And the teacher has to be willing to say, I'm gonna share your number with this parent and you're gonna be also notified. And that way, if somebody misses it, you know, or that parent knows like it's a grandma, I'm gonna call her directly and say, hey, this is what's happening. We really need for you to come. And make them, you know, because the teacher can only do so much and put it on the room parent, you know, in that way. And I don't know if y'all do that at the high school. Maybe that's too old, like, you know, they're too old already. But it's very successful.
Yeah, though, it really is.
It's very successful and you become this little community and people, you know, they're a team. So they feel like, you know, anyways.
But I mean, you're right. And you know what? You capture a really good population because it's all of Dalton, all of Legacy, all of, and maybe some Morales, maybe, but even them, they might capture more, at least a bigger percentage. Like Dalton, they actually had some that were from multiple grade levels, right? So that's what, so it captured more, but I kind of like that idea too.
But that's a way to get to those people that don't have technology or.
And I think maybe that's just from superintendent level. Maybe these are principal level initiatives of what they're doing, but superintendent level is to administer this across the board, is implement a strategy of how do we get this out? And that's up to you. I mean, how you want to do that. But I think Trustee Munoz has a good idea and everybody has some good ideas here today. I like that one about the room parent because it gets them involved.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Stedna.
Thank you all.
So I handed you legacies, and then I have Mr. Escamilla coming up. So legacy is their tier 1 of strengthening instruction through the HQI implementation, data-driven PLCs, and continuous coaching cycles, working with NIAT, Strive for the alignment and responsive teaching. So Mr. Escamilla for legacy. This is a 2-year plan because this is a turnaround plan.
The only thing, and I know this is in every single one of these plans here right now, and I know I heard this at that meeting that I went to. It was teachers having a lot on their schedule. And is there any way that we can free up some time on those Fridays for them to start having their PLC time during the Fridays?
Absolutely. And I know me and Mr. Escamilla were talking about it as well, is making sure that it's accounted for in the schedule. Because some of the schedules, it just didn't have anything, but if we actually put it on the schedule, as you will do a PLC time instead of just an open block in the afternoon for them to get their grades done or whatever, that was one thing I know that we discussed specifically in regards to when that PD schedule is put out, because it's not all day that we clearly allocate the minutes of, okay, now these people are going to meet together and not just assume that they see an open block and going to have a PLC naturally.
The other thing we did talk about is parent communication, having those parent meetings that we need to do right now, also on those days. Be able to support them to come in during the day.
On Fridays? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
So we're pushing some PD, so that way they have a Friday open to where they can have some of those face-to-face meetings.
Because I know that the professional development is taking, and this is across the board on Fridays. And so is there any way to push it to give them more time on those Fridays for the PLC time or teacher meetings or whatever with parent? I don't know what those professional development requires, but is there any way they could do it on an off time or something, not on the Friday, so that something I learned at that meeting was the critical aspect of the teachers being able to collaborate with each other. And so I thought that that was really interesting for them to be present together, but for learning initiatives within the classrooms, like what are you struggling with? And it sounded like that was something that they already do, but they just don't have that time anymore because they're so bombarded throughout the day with the shortened day or the shortened classes, right, throughout the week. So anyways, it's not for you to answer. It's it's throughout the school district issue, but I don't know if there's something that we can do.
Yes,
where-
they're given open time. We need to say that's your PLC time.
And
We just need to put it on the schedule.
on Fridays.
PLC, yes, PLC time. So there, yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Escamilla.
Thank you.
And then our last one is Morales, and then I know Miss Marlos is on her way up.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm so glad. I'm sorry.
I have, she took mine.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
She was so organized and I just messed it up.
So for Morales, again, we're really targeting and focusing that tier 1 instruction, HQIM, data-driven PLCs, ongoing coaching cycles, teachers analyzing student work, internalizing lesson and adjusting lessons using real-time data, which I know Ms. Marlos has been real big on, and some intentional PDs for checks for understandings and exit tickets and how to use those to adjust lessons. Using Eduphoria and Strive, and this aligns to HQIM and our coaching cycles, higher achievement, and sustained through instructional growth. You have any questions for Ms. Marlos? Ms. Morales? You renamed him. I know, I always do.
It's basically the same.
It's because a lot of it's like to build systems, right? And so when we get our teachers together, because one things we've also been asked is like our teachers from UDLA or teachers from Batesville, since we departmentalize their singletons. And so if we do more systemic things, then they are able to go to, and they have been to Morales to plan with some of those 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers, or even 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade teachers, because if not, then they're singletons and they don't have anybody to plan with. So we have been making some intentional times for those campuses that have singletons to come over to the bigger campuses so they have a PLC group to plan with. So we're trying to keep things systemic across the district. So you will see a lot of repetitiveness so we can share ideas in different PLCs, whether it's IC or principal PLCs, so what's working, what's not working. Can we send my teacher over to see my kiddos, we can send my teachers over to see that, how the functioning goes. Then we're able to use our strengths within the district. So that has been a goal.
And just so y'all know, like consistently, I have like 4 partners at MJH, and it's nice to see that we are getting the consistent same feedback about how to grow our teachers. We agree. We had a very short amount of time to turn this around, and I don't think you realize, but it was a heavy lift for CNI and Ms. Graber, and I know Ms. Gina helped, and Dr. G. It was intense to get all this information, but just so you know, it's very beautiful to be part of it. I was able to participate as an assistant principal in a growth plan, but just the support that I received with our data dive. So we really filled the room with different pieces of data, and with our ILT, we went around and studied like how we were rated. I was able to, I think, really target like our domain 1, domain 2, domain 3, and to see that we grew 4 points in the first one, 7 in the second, and then the last, like closing the gaps, was only 1%. So for us, that was a piece that we needed to do more of. And so that's our special POPs. So that's our special education, emerging bilinguals and our Hispanic population. So take that and be very intentional when we went to lesson internalized in our PLC and look at like, before they get to the lesson, what are we intentionally planning for those students? And so then we did look at a check for understanding to see if what they planned for, if those kids were growing. And then if they weren't, we just did this in our last PLC. We had those partial students that partial almost to meets. And so then again, what are we going to do differently? What other supports are we adding to go back and then get those students to meets? And so it's been a beautiful process, very stressful, but it's been a beautiful process because it's very eye-opening and very intentional. And then I would love to say too, so we learned a lot as a leadership team, ILT team, and then we took it to site-based. And with site-based, we had 3 parents on there. And they gave us wonderful feedback and we walked them through our plan and then they helped to look at where we were. And so we've had those pieces. And then again, we just continue to progress monitor to grow. But it was beautiful to see all your partners saying the same thing. So I know at MJH, a big one is just having that strong tier 1 instruction because we do have amazing teachers here and we have passionate teachers here, but maybe we're not focusing on the right thing. And then why wouldn't we listen? Because this is TEA who wrote the standards and who wrote the assessment and who knows about everything about pedagogy. So like they're telling us, hey, focus on this. I mean, I'm doing my best for us to vision, mission, all of us move in the same way and do exactly what they say and monitor and give feedback and continue to grow. Because if we do that, I mean, I think that we are going to move. I mean, I'm very proud of us for moving from an F to a D. I would love to have a B this year, but we're really, we'll take a C, but I would love a B because we have amazing teachers that are here for kids.
Well, that's just gonna be my quick follow-up question.
Yes,
I have
sir.
2. And it can be you or anybody, any of the other principals. The plans that were given to the teachers, how do they feel? Are they supportive of the plans? Are they excited about the plans moving forward?
I think so. It's just time. So like something I know that my academic dean and myself, we have committed to 2:30 to 4:30 every Friday with, I mean, sometimes some people, depending on wherever they're at, they might not be able to participate, but whoever is left, we are dedicated to having that PLC from 2:30 to 4:30, as much time as we can. I think it's a big shift in changing how we do things. But the big thing that I've learned is use the data to support. So as we continue to tweak, they should start to see the benefits for their students. And so that data should support those changes that we're doing in PLCs. And so, I mean, they want what's best for kids. We just, sometimes we're just focusing on the wrong thing. Me too. Like I've never turned a campus around, but I have all these people that have and have written the standards. I mean, I'm going to follow and do everything we can full-fledged to move our kids because they deserve it.
Right.
They're smart kids. They can do it. I think a lot of people probably thought we wouldn't move the points we did, but we did.
Right.
And then I think it's like maybe 8 points that we can move. So I'm very confident that we can do that. Yes.
Well, and thank y'all for all the hard work and just make sure that our teachers are supported in this initiative. And then my second question was, and I think this is for Ms. Graber, once we submit these plans, these are the plans. Are we able to tweak them if need be, once we get that additional information, like in January?
Absolutely. I believe so. I'm pretty sure we can. There are plans.
It's ongoing.
I know that the commissioner has to approve our TAP plans. So our TAP plans, the commissioner will look at them and approve them. Our TIP plans, those are more adjustable and saying, hey, we're going to do this, that, and that. But our TAP plans, because it starts our 2-year kind of time clock, I know those actually have to go on his desk. He reads them and he approves them. So if there are any adjustments, I'm sure we can make them. I've sent these plans to TEA's school improvement already 2 or 3 times, as well as Region 20 to get some feedback. And I go back to principals and I'd be like, okay, now we got to do a little bit more. Now we got to do a little bit tweaking this. So we have been getting feedback and moving them. So I don't see why they would say no on the plans if they're just supporting and adding more into it, other than taking anything away from it that we've had to put in versus the feedback that we received. So again, the parent involvement, the parent engagement, 100%. I don't see any reason why we couldn't add more of that stuff in there. yes, I'm comfortable with adding some of the pieces, just not removing them. Because then we would have to ask for another permission for him to review and accept them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Gerber, thank
Thank
you and
you.
your team for putting it together. Ms. Tarski, Sedna, Scamilla, Merlos, thank you. It's a lot of weight. We're here to support you guys.
Item 4, adjournment. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam President, I make a motion to adjourn the public forum, the public hearing.
I second that.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Riso.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned